In this short video presentation, I'm going to show you how easy it is to use ClassMon to perform many of the functions you have to do as a prep year teacher. We will show how to manage your class, how to produce learning records, and how to create digital portfolios. So you may be familiar with the phase descriptors from the QSA, and here's an example of one here for social and personal learning with the different phases and the different comments per phase. You also may be familiar with the QSA template. This is the PowerPoint template supplied by the QSA. Now this sets up a framework for you to create your portfolios and your learning records, and it is a matter of copying and pasting from the phase descriptor document into the template, and you create a separate PowerPoint slideshow for each student. Now that does make things a little simpler. It's easier than setting something up yourself, but it does involve a lot of work copying and pasting and a lot of different files to manage. So what ClassMon does is it performs all of those functions in the one program. So what I'll do here is I will start from the very beginning and I'll add myself as a new teacher. So I'm a prep teacher and I'll make a login name called Fred, and I can be Fred. I won't be Flintstone, I'll be Fred Jones. So I add myself as a teacher, and it's now asked me that it says there's no terms found, so please add terms. Now for the purposes of this example, I'll just add a single term that spans across the whole year. Now you can break it up into 4 terms if you want to do 4 sets of portfolios and learning records, or you might do 2 terms, which would represent 2 semesters. I'll just add my school name, so I'll just call it my school. And you can also add your school logo, so when the learning records and portfolios are produced, it will automatically insert your logo and school name. Now these settings here, you can either show all observations, so as you make multiple observations in the one learning statement, you can ask for all of them to be shown in the learning record or the portfolio, or you can just show the latest observation. So if it was just going to be like an assessment portfolio showing the top level that the student achieved, then you would choose the latest observation. Now many schools are using ClassMon not only to produce learning records in prep, but using them for other year levels and as school reports. So you can also turn on a cover page for the report, for the learning record, and I'll show you how that looks later on. Now also you can turn the context and effort on and off, whether that is shown on the report and whether that is assessed at all. Now that's very much a prep thing, but it might be in another year level you might have an effort descriptor, which could also be used. And you can also create a slideshow for each student and include that in the portfolio, and this just turns the button on and off for whether you want to produce that slideshow or not. Okay, so I'll just apply that. So that's our first setup. Now it's asking me to add my class, so I'll call this my prep class and add that. Alright, so we're logged in now to our prep class, and we can start adding our students. Now we can add our students one by one just by filling in all the details, or we can import our students from an Excel file. So I'll just show you what a file looks like. So basically it's just a list of student first name, surname, a student ID number if you have them, or you could just create it, and then the sex and the date of birth. So that's the information in the CSV file, and all you do in ClassMon is just import that. So first I'll just close that because Windows doesn't like us using that at the same time. So I'll just import and browse to the folder where I've stored that, media folder, and I have a student CSV file. So now we've imported all our students successfully, so when I hit OK, you'll see all our students appear now in the list. So very easy to bring in your whole class. Now what we'll do is we'll go to our next page and we'll assign the rubric to the class. So ClassMon works on a rubric, and when you install ClassMon, you get the Queensland Early Years rubric already set up. So you don't actually have to type in any of the information from the QSA document. So when we select the rubric from this list, because you can have multiple rubrics if you're teaching, maybe you're teaching someone on a special program, you can also include another rubric, or this might be used for a composite prep and grade 1 or 1 and 2 class, and you can have different rubrics and associate the rubric with a different student. But in this case, we're going to use the prep rubric, and we're going to associate that with all the students, and we'll apply that. So now we have all the learning areas associated with all the students. Okay, so now I'm just going to, for Abigail here, I'll just add a photo for her just so it looks a bit more pretty. So my D drive, media, and I'll grab this one. Okay, so, and I'll just apply that, and we have the information here. So you can see we've now finished our setup. We've set up our class, we've set up our term or semester, and we've associated the rubric with the students we need to assess. So that's all you do at the start of the year. So that should take you maybe 2 or 3 minutes to set that up. So now we're ready to make our observations. We'll just show you how to make one observation. We'll choose Abigail here, social and personal learning. Now you can see when we select any of these tabs, it changes the drop down items that are available. So for social and personal learning, we can easily select another learning area, or we can select a learning statement within their learning area. So we're going to do it for sustaining relationships and today's date. You can also forward date or backdate an observation. So our observation was during play, and the student was becoming aware. And you can see that it's automatically inserted the correct comment for becoming aware for sustaining relationships. Now what it's also done is automatically inserted Abigail's name, and it's also put in the correct gender statement. Let's use the word her there, so you can use more personalised statements as we've included in ClassMon. So there's no copy and pasting involved. As you select a different phase, it just automatically pulls the correct comment, inserts the name, and has the correct gender comment. Now you can see in this rubric we've also included a level 1 outcome or phase, and that's for students that are at a level 1 level in the prep years. Once you've chosen your phase, you move on to your next tab, and you can add work samples that are related to that phase. I'll just add a couple of pictures here, so put that one in, and I'll browse and add maybe an audio file. Okay, so I've added a couple of work samples there. So one's an image and one's an audio file. I can easily just preview what I've inserted there. And once I've added my work samples, I can move on to the next tab, and I might like to add a general learning statement comment. So this might be something that I want a more informal comment, which is additional to the formal rubric comment. So it might be Abigail loves playing. So you can add a general learning statement comment, and you could also keep some notes on this student that are related to this learning statement, and they're just notes for yourself in your teaching. So we apply this observation. So once it's applied, it's then listed under that student's name. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to log out as Fred Jones, and I'll log back into a portfolio that has more observations done in it, and I can show you some of the outputs. To log out is very simple. Choose our log out, and I'm just going to log back in as Dave. Now you see when I log in, it automatically detects what classes I have associated with this login. I'm going to choose the prep class here and log in, and it automatically loads my prep class, which I've already made observations for.